What's up everyone, Dr. D here, and in this video I'd like to talk about the new DDR Gold Edition cabinet. There's a lot to talk about. Some of it's going to be rumors, some of it is going to be some of the things we know, and a lot of it's going to be my thoughts on it, both good and bad. So that's going to be towards the end. Let's get started with what we actually know. We know that at the semifinal round in KC the 8th, in the Japan West region, they announced at the end that they will be coming out with a gold edition cabinet to celebrate DDR 20th anniversary. DDR 20th anniversary. Hey, I said it right this time. Hey, I can do it. So, this cab is going to be debuted at JPO this weekend. JPO is running on the 26th and the 27th. It's possible the cab will be demoed on the 26th, but we know for sure it'll be there and probably demoed on the 27th. And yes, of course, the finals will be played on it, as if you heard it in my last video. To be very clear, this video is going to be a rambling. Don't expect any special editing. Don't expect perfection, even though I never make perfection. But unless I'm playing DDR, that's the only time I can make perfection. But if you guys just want to hear me ramble on and get some information and get my thoughts and opinions, this is the video for you. I'm also having trouble with the lighting, which I think is fine, because this is mostly going to be about, well, you just really got to listen. Because I notice that whenever I come over here, it gets like really dark, and I do want to show you what's on the screen sometimes. So anyways, yeah, that's the official tweet right there that you can see that Konami announced the 20th anniversary cabinet, and yeah, a lot of people are expecting that. So let's talk about what we know. And by the way, I already recorded this video once. I didn't really like how it came out, so if you think this is bad, just imagine how bad the other one must be if I'm not uploading that one. So let's take a look at another image. And there we go. So this image was leaked. I don't believe this was meant to be out there in public yet, but this image clearly shows what the gold cab is basically going to look like, including the name on it, which looks like it's going to be Dance Dance Revolution 20th anniversary. And definitely it's gold plated, and there's definitely some smaller details we can make out. But let's talk about the big details that they're featuring on the list. So with the translation that I got, it says the following, and if I say it wrong, blame the translator. It says, unparalleled, overwhelming sense of presence with a thick gold finish. The first indicator over here says larger monitor size. Thanks to the striking 55-inch large format screen, spectators will be able to view this game more easily, earning more attention. Second point says larger size of all the Bemani cabinets. The high-end top unit shines brightly, making the cabinet easily spotted from afar. Over anything else, it stands out. So it seems like it's going to be the tallest of all the music games. Third one says, upgraded stage LEDs. Sounds like they're just bringing it back, not upgrading. The shine of the dance floor will envelope. That's a bad translation. Will envelop? Oh, envelop. Oh, that's envelop. Players from their feet up. And finally, powered by 4.1 channel speaker system. Experience the sound like you're right there in the middle of it all. Those are the listed features. And then just by looking at it, there's not much else we can tell. There's definitely the scanners for the amusement pass. Those look like maybe some speakers, possibly. We have the select button, we have the up, down, left, right. Then we have this black area here, which is very curious. The artist might have blacked it out. It still might be deciding what they're going to use there. But my hope is that that's going to be for USB supports. A lot of people want to see edit data come back, and that'd be the perfect way to bring it back. So yeah, that's speculation though, but the other stuff, if the leaked document is to be believed, is all accurate. So going forward, we're going to talk about more leaks. I will try to be mindful when there are leaks, and I will try to make sure that that's clear. And yeah, let's go on from there. So going on from here, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of the gold cab coming. And one reason why I want to record this video is because I just want to do this a lot faster. The other video dragged on 26 minutes. I'm hoping to get this under 20. Let's see if we can do it. First up, DDR is still alive and well. In my opinion, this shows that Konami still has plans for DDR going in the future. They're investing into new hardware, and that comes along to point number 2. Probably a new mix is coming out. Again, we suspect it's going to be called DDR 20th anniversary, but who knows, it could be subject to change, and of course it'll probably be pronounced Dance Dance Revolution, but hey, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty exciting. They're developing new hardware, they're developing probably new software, and the third point is just the new hardware in general is great. I don't care what they produce more of. The fact that there's more hardware means that there's more likely that the machines are going to be distributed into more places. For example, if there's an arcade in Japan that has a white machine currently and they'd like to upgrade to a gold machine, perhaps they don't have the space for both. Likely they would be purchasing the gold machine and then selling off the white to somewhere else. And it could be somewhere in Japan, it could be somewhere outside of Japan. If Konami decides to open up the market a little bit more, maybe allow some other arcades besides Round 1 and Dave & Buster's in the United States to have machines, it's possible some stray white cabs could be popping up in locations nearby people who otherwise would have to drive 3-4 hours to get to. So that's pretty exciting. And of course I hope more machines make it to Taiwan as well. So new hardware is just always exciting. It's kind of like way back in the day when we got all of our bootleg mixes in America. We got lots of, you know, the old SD black style cabinets shipped over to America back in, like, you know, the Max 2, Max 3, that I wish, Extreme days, and then we all bootlegged it, and then Konami didn't want to do business here anymore. But hey, that's a story for another day. The good news is just, yeah, more hardware is great. The fact that there's just more machines in circulation is beautiful. All right. What else is good? New features, like I said, we already mentioned all that, and possibly some quality of life improvements, both on the software end, and who knows, maybe there's some improvements on the panels. Maybe we finally have some good panels that won't be needed to be heavily modded so that we can actually play on them. Maybe the bars are a little bit taller. You know, it could be a few things that we really enjoy. Maybe the sound is just really popping and really makes a difference to everything. Who knows? This video is sponsored by Arizona Green Tea. No, but I wish. I seriously wish. Do you know that I have to import this shit in Taiwan because they don't sell it normally. I have to, like, alright, that's not here nor there. Back to the video. Yeah, so that's basically what I have to say. And the reason why we suspect there's going to be a new mix, every time there's been a hardware change, there's been a new mix. I believe that the first 2 mixes were like on analog, and then when they came out with third mix, there was a new mix. When they came out with third mix, there was a new machine. And then that lasted until Extreme. Then they came out with the red cabs, there's a new mix. And then they came out with DDR-X, there's a new machine. Then they came out with DDR 2013, there's a new machine. So we already know there's a new machine, so most likely there's a new mix. I'm just really curious if the new mix is going to be what's played on at the finals, or if they're just going to make it a version of DDR-A. Who knows? And that does it for the good news. Now, unfortunately, the rest we're going to be talking about is bad news. And by the way, here's another image of what the cab may look like. Someone brightened it up and went off what we do know. And that may or may not reveal any more information, but, you know, something else to put on the screen. So, let's talk about the bad. And I hate to say it, but most of my concerns are bad. Now, very clear. Not all of it is, like, really bad. They're mostly concerns, and I'm hoping that in the end a lot of these are really negligible. They're not that big of a deal. They can be overcome or something or the other, but hopefully they're not as bad. Only a couple of them actually are pretty concerning. Alright, first one is kind of concerning. Since the new mix is coming out, and this is rumor territory, It sounds like their focus is on HD cabinets. So that's the X cabs, the white cabs, and then of course the gold cabs are going to be supported, which would mean that going forward, red cabs, like the ones that I play on, would not be getting the update. That's pretty concerning. And that opens up a huge can of worms. Like, what are they going to do? Are they just going to sunset them like DDR X3, give it an offline patch and let it run in the wild? Are they going to continue Ace support for the foreseeable future? Maybe for a little while. Maybe there will be a short time where there's a new mix and there's still Ace running on machines that haven't upgraded yet. Maybe, I don't know. It'd be very curious to see what happens to a current style Ace cabs on red cabs, SD CRTs. So that's a concern. Number two, the screen. Let's talk about the screen. They're touting it as a big eye-catching screen. I'm saying I'll wait and see. I think 55 inches might be too big. For comparison, I believe the white cabs right now are 42, 44 inches, something like that. 55 is a tall order. That's a big increase over the current white cabs. And I already think that the white cabs are big enough. I don't think I needed any bigger than that. So I'd be interested to see how that would end up turning out. And another slight concern is the screen is no longer slanted. That's flat. Every other machine has a slanted screen to some angle. This will be the first DDR machine. Okay, actually, I take that back. Solo. Aha, I caught myself. You guys are going to call me out in the comments. I caught ya. Which, by the way, let's keep the comments going down below. Whatever you want to say, type it down below. I'll probably reply. I'm pretty active recently on my YouTube, so let's keep the discussion going there. Yeah, that's a little concerning. Maybe it's just a thing that you got to get a little bit used to. But, yeah. Oh, and that's something else I didn't mention before, but it seems all but confirmed that they're using the chassis of Dance Rush. They're probably doing this to cut costs and manufacturing because they already have basically the blueprints and the materials in place to make dance rushes. And they might even do what they did with Musica, and they might be able to retrofit current dance rushes into the new DDR version if they're not performing well. A little unlikely, but who knows, maybe they have like a trade-in program. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. Pure speculation. So the screen, wait and see. No idea. I'm not going to judge it good or bad, but it's definitely a concern. Alright, next up, big concern. If rumors, and this is rumor territory, are to be believed, the new mix is going to be more expensive. That's right, dollar bill, y'all. If it's to be believed, the new rounds are not going to be the $1.25, whatever you guys are playing in the States. In Japan, they've always had 100 yen credit, and you can get the 3-song normal credit for that. But they also have the premium credit, which is why they use Pasali. And over the years, Pasali has been slowly rising. It's gotten up to like, 120. I've seen places 130, maybe even more by now. And that's still not cutting it. The new machine is going to be expected to charge around 200 yen per round. Not sure if that's a 3 or 4 song. I'm going to hope it's 4, but that's still a big asking price to play one round. So however much DDR you play right now, and however much you spend, if you keep your playing habits the same, you might be doubling your bill. Pretty concerning. Hopefully that rumor is not true, but if it is, I don't know what to say, guys. So we'll see what happens with that. Besides that, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that these machines are gonna be expensive. Arcades are going to have to spend a lot if they're going to want the new gold cap. We know that the white caps, I want to say, were like between 10 to 15 grand. That's a USD when they were being bought and sold. Maybe it's changed over time, or maybe I got the numbers completely wrong. But I think it's safe to say that the gold cap, it's going to be more. It's got a bigger screen. It's got more lighting. It's got more features. So you almost have to assume it's going to cost more money, which might make it harder for arcades to want to invest into that. They might not think they'll get their return on investment back. So if some arcades are hesitant to buy the machine, then it could be a bust. I'm not sure if places in America like Dave & Buster's are ready to shell out another order. I remember hearing them not be interested in spending any more money on any more machines or any more orders. So it's going to be hard. I'm just hoping that Konami opens up where they'll allow the amusement all over the world, not just America, Europe, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, more parts of Asia. I just want more freedom all around the world. South Africa, hey, you know who I'm talking about. So let's see what they end up doing with that. So it might be double the price for a round, and it might cost, hopefully not double, but more money for arcades, which might make it less likely for them to buy one or upgrade. All right, I gotta keep drinking. No edits in this, baby. I think I might be coming down with something. Better see a doctor. Next up, next concern is going to be that another rumor, again, I'll always try to mention when these are rumors, is that the new mix is going to be exclusive to gold cabs, at least temporarily. This would be to encourage more and more arcades to buy the gold cabinet and yeah, upgrade other arcades to upgrade to the gold as well. If they end up doing this, it would probably be like a timed exclusive. Think about like the exclusives on consoles right now, or like PUBG, it might be a timed exclusive for like 1 or 2 years. And then it'll make it to the PlayStation 4. Something like that. If that's going to be the case, I think we can live with that, but that's, again, a rumor. So we'll see what happens with that. There's still no information about the rollout. They're just debuting it this weekend at JPO. We don't know if it's going to be immediately available, if it might take a month, it might take several months. We have no idea about the rollout. Hopefully we get more information at JPO. Alright, we are going to have 2 more concerns and then my final biggest concern. So, I'm going to need more Arizona. Big concern, 3 left. The KC Finals. It's going to be on a gold cab. Konami, what are you thinking? Yeah, so, as mentioned in my 10 things you ought to know about CAC the 8th, KC the 8th, Konami Arcade Championship the 8th, the finals are going to be played on a gold cab. They just randomly announced it in a tweet. It's like, oh, or not in a tweet, but on the official KC website. Now, that's a nightmare for all the finalist players. None of them have played on it. Now, I keep seeing people saying, well, it's even then, because none of them played on it. I'm going to respectfully disagree, because different players are better than adjusting to certain things than others. For example, I'm really good at visually timing. If there was a new cab that was CRT based, and you wanted me to verse Chris, and we weren't playing anything that I can't physically do, I actually have a good chance of beating him. And that's because he's not used to playing on a CRT visually based machine. I might have an upper hand. So someone that might have an advantage one way or another, either to audio or visual cues, they might have on-the-spot advantage. So even though, like, let's say, like, Fafems would win 9 times out of 10 on Endymion Challenge, if he's not really feeling or honing in on that marvelous timing window, but Chris is able to figure it out and manipulate it to the point where he can outplay Fafems, he can win. So it's definitely going to cause drama. I'm going to say it right now. I didn't want to get into it in the other video because I could talk about it for hours, honestly. I'm going to just try to keep this down to a minute or two because it looks like we're approaching about like 17.5 minutes already. I wanted to keep this under 20, and that's not going to happen. But I do think that the pace that I'm talking at this time is way better than the other one, and the information is a lot better because it's the second time saying all of it. But let's talk about the finals on a gold cab. What does that entail? No matter who wins, the other party's fans are going to complain, no matter what. If Chris wins, people are going to say that it wasn't fair because, like I said, he had an advantage because he was easier to adapt to a gold cap. Same thing with Funga or Fafems or Oshima, you name it. People are going to say that it wouldn't have happened if it was on a white. We all trained for a white and we weren't used to it, and just everyone's going to have an out. Everyone has an out. If your idol doesn't win, you can just say, "Oh well, you know, it was because of that." And if your idol wins, you'll probably ignore it, but that's just human nature. Everyone would be guilty of it. Either way, it muddies it. It really muddies whoever's going to be the champion of this KAC, because you can just chalk it up to happenstance, the circumstance of the whole ordeal. And I'm disappointed about that. I know that I've talked to a couple of the finalists. They're very upset about this. And yeah, I mean, I hope that it's okay, but you know, you never know. Whew. Konami, what are you thinking? So with that drama out of the way, let's talk about the last two things. This one should be this one's also kind of a concern, and it's not a rumor, but it's a concern. And that is the score wipes. It seems likely that they're probably going to wipe all your hard-earned scores. All the scores you've been grinding and working on for the past nearly 3 years, you can kiss them all goodbye. Because likely they're going to wipe them all. They might keep your lamps, but don't expect anything else. They've been having this mix for nearly 3 years. Konami's ready to wipe it and start new, because you know what they want? They want this. Maybe it wouldn't affect you, but a lot of Japanese players really care about things like their personal records, region records, and yes, even world records if they can get them. So, leaving a blank slate is going to net Konami more money, period. It's going to make people more competitive and want to play more and grind more, and they want to see that. So they have a reason to do that. They definitely have a reason to wipe all the scores. It's not pro-consumer, it's not pro-player, but it's definitely pro-company, and that kind of sucks. They usually wipe the scores whenever a new mix like alters something gameplay-wise. Like DDR was a huge overhaul to the timing window, so that makes sense why they would wipe the scores. I believe from X3 to 2013 they wiped the scores, but that was because I want to say that they eliminated, or the goods became to combo. Goods started counting as combo, and that would affect scoring. Like if you got a good on a freeze, you can now still get that okay, whereas before a good on the freeze wouldn't have gave you that okay. So it would have changed some scoring instances. And I believe there was another time that they eliminated like the almost window, and then they wiped it. So usually when they do that kind of thing, they're gonna wipe the scores. And it's unsure what they're gonna do. It feels like the timing is great right now for DDR, so it'd be nice if they just didn't wipe it at all. But you know, you never know with Konami, and there's a good chance that they'll probably wipe it just for the money reason. But I'm still holding out a little hope that they just let you keep it all, because that'd be great. Everyone would be happy. But once again, a concern, not confirmed, but a very strong suspicion and concern. Which brings us to the final thing and my biggest concern. I don't have enough Arizona iced tea to get this all out, because this is going to be like a rant. So, what is Dr. D's biggest concern about... trying to get a good image. Let's change it up. So what's Dr. D's biggest concern about the new mix and what it might entail? It kind of goes to a lot of the points that I've already touched up on. The machine's different. The reason why a lot of finalists are concerned is because they know it's not going to feel the same. It's not. No cab feels the same. No one with a straight face can look at you and say that a red cab is equal to a black cab is equal to a white cab. You can't. there's differences. For example, using a CRT, there's no latency, or I believe CRTs work that way. There's like no latency. So the way that Konami programs the windows and the timing, a lot of people feel that it feels early, and that would be a correct statement. Where there's some latency in the HD black cabs and white cabs, and then Konami has to tweak it so that it feels a little bit different. They all feel different, and there's even arguments that are basically confirmed that even the timing windows, maybe if the same, there's still enough differences because there's so many factors in play. You got the monitor, which all have different delays. You have different pad I/O boards, which also have like different amount of like interference, interruptions, and wiring, and just how it communicates to all the devices. And then you have just a lot of things and components make it all different. So I guess let's go back. And again, this video is going to be longer than 26 minutes, but I'm keeping it because I think that the flow is a lot better. And if you made it this far, good for you. So let's go back. Let's go back to me. And yes, this is why it's my biggest concern, because I'm sorry, this is personal. Way back, before America had DDR-A, and before America really had any good DDR, I think the last DDR was on Betson Black Cabs for X2, which we all know are garbage and basically unplayable. You can even say like the last like real like actual playable cab was like Supernova 2. So let's just ignore that for now. During that time, I lived in Asia and I had access to all the mixes and well, all the new mixes that were coming out. And that's when I started developing my MA. And during like X2, 3, 2013, 2014, I really honed in my MA. I played my heart out. I focused so hard. I tried my best. And I always went hardcore into MA. And it was hard. It was very, very hard. Because DDR-A opened up all that and fixed all the problems, and that's great. I love how DDR-A feels, but you have to understand how hard it was before. There's only a few players like me at the time. Me, Jinx Yasu, Maxwell, The Kid, Rio, maybe a couple others, but basically we're like the only MA players at the time, and there's a reason, because it was a difficult thing to go for. Getting SDGs on even 11s and 12s and 13s was SDPs, sorry, was a very taxing and a hard task to do. That's for sure. But still, we grinded, and we grinded hard, and I grinded especially hard. And I'd get world records, I'd get SDPs, and believe it or not, I even got MFCs, which on those mixes, on that timing, on those, whatever you want to call it, was near impossible. It was so freaking hard. Now, there was the magic BPM, 150, 180, 200, and all the multiples of that. That made it, how should I say, a lot easier to MA. So a lot of MFCs you saw during that time, they were done on those BPMs. And yes, some of the MFCs I got during that time were also done on those BPMs. But you can almost rest assured that any other BPM, you had no assistance. It was just hard as hell to guarantee all marvelous on a song. But nonetheless, I still managed to do so. Now this is a completely impromptu, but I'm actually going to try to pull up a list, if I can, to kind of give you guys an idea. Here we go. Oh, hey, look at that. Let that load. So I still worked my ass off, and I was able to find a way to get some MFCs once in a while, even on songs that were not Magic BPM, like Ska Ska number 3 and otherwise. So why am I saying all this? Why does it even matter? Well, going by my current list, which by the way you should always check out. Before DDR-A, I managed 27 MFCs, which was incredible. It was seriously some of the hardest things I had to do. And I valued each one of them. And once DDR-A came out, it basically devalued everything. It really did. A lot of players who get MFCs today, and from the bottom of my heart, I mean no disrespect. My gripe here is with Konami and their dumb decisions to not fix this issue long, long ago. But as it stands, everything that I worked really hard for was basically being able to be gotten by dozens of players. So, like I said, I gave you the example with Ska number 3. And I was the only one who MFC'd that on DDR X3, which is one of my greatest achievements ever. But now there's probably like 24 people who've gotten it. And I don't know if anyone else could have gotten it on DDR X3. So that's my, that was really hard for me. It was really hard for me to accept DDRA. You can actually find like one of my first tweets on DDRA when I got like 4 MFCs in a day. I have like like dots after. I'm like, okay, and another one. And I started realizing like, God damn it. They just completely devalued what an MFC is. So how did I cope with that? I was able to get through that by just going all in on DDRA. I kind of just said, you know what? This took me lots of years and lots of hard work to get this, but I can't. I can't think about this. I can't focus on this. Just forget about that and move on. And that's what I did. I just doubled down and I went hardcore into DDRA, and I tried my hardest. I tried my best, and I just got MFC after MFC after MFC. So I was able to say, you know what? They might be able to tie all those, but hopefully I can get enough unique and special MFCs that it really shows, the difference. And that's what I did. And what's that gotten me? Well, I'm at 643 MFCs now. So that was a long story. And again, I mean, no disrespect to anyone who can get MFCs today. Any MFC, even today, is still very impressive and a testament to player skill. I don't care what difficulty it is. But what it brings us today, and why I mentioned the whole story, is I'm afraid Konami will do it again. I'm afraid that the timing on the gold cabs might end up benefiting people who play on gold cabs. And if that ends up happening, I'm going to be very disappointed and very, I don't know. Not sure if I'll be able to continue. But I'm hoping it's not the case. But the reason why I'm so concerned and I fear that it will be the case is for one simple fact. And that fact is, Konami wants to sell the gold cabs. Absolutely. There's no doubt. If they want to make money, if they want to be relevant with their new machine, they gotta sell it. And what's the best way to sell it? Well, the players gotta want to play on it. And what would make the players want to play on it the most? If it's the best. If it feels the best, if the timing is the best. And I'm gonna do a little sidetrack right now. Yes, you know what? Screen size matters. Even if the windows were exactly the same no matter what machine. Let's say like the HD black and the HD white were exactly the same. It might still be easier to play on the white because it has a bigger screen. You got a physically bigger targets. Like physically the marvelous zone is larger to see. Anyways, I think you get what I mean. So if it's easier to play on a gold cab, and then players are going to want it, and then the arcades are going to want to buy it, and then that makes Konami happy. If they, by any chance, make the gold cab come out, and it is not on par with the black or white HD cabs, I have a very strong suspicion that instead of trying to make it on par, they're going to do what they did to the white cabs and just make it easier for the white cab. And if they do that, oh boy. Not sure if I'm going to be able to continue if that happens. And for a history lesson, DDR was released on May 30th, 2016. And at the time, it was basically only playable on red cabs. Kind of playable on black cabs. and 100% unplayable on white cabs. You couldn't PFC it, PFC anything. You could definitely not MFC anything. The windows were so broken, incredibly broken. Anyone that played at the time gravitated towards red machines for sure. Just look at old videos of like me and Jinx Yasu, Maxwell. We all were playing on red cap because it wasn't possible. But Konami didn't like that. They had new hardware, kind of new hardware at the time, you know, the white caps, and just no one was playing it anymore. And of course they needed to fix it, so they kept trying to release a patch to fix it and keep trying to do it, but they couldn't get it until April 20th. Easy to remember. And on April 20th, 2016, they came out with the big patch of what made DDR what you know it today, which most of you know it because DDR A was not released in America until later that summer. So I know the history because I was here for the entire thing. And that's the DDR A that you know today, but just know it was broken before. And now, arguably, it is the best machine to play on. A lot of the scores I get now, I can't get it on a red machine. I have to do it on a white. It's just easier. That's the honest to God truth. So, it wasn't always like that. It only happened after the 420 updates, where it was arguably much easier on white cabs ever since then. So once again, to bring it back to today, my fear is that the gold cap is not going to be on par with the red, or sorry, it's not going to be a red, but on the white or the black cap, and then they're going to try to get it on par, but maybe they're going to overcompensate a bit. Maybe they're going to make it just a little bit easier, or maybe it's going to be the same, but still it's going to feel easier because it's got a bigger screen, and that's ugly. That's really ugly. I miss the days when just everyone was playing on the same machine. And there's something about that, you know. I remember, I mean, now I'm like kind of, this is going on way more than just the gold cab thing. But I think some of you, if you're watching and listening this long, I think it's because you're interested. So I'll go in a little bit more history. But I mean, that's one of the reasons what motivates me to play so hard and try so hard. And you can even throw this into a DDR for Dummies series. But like just watching Kevbo, and I grew up around Kevbo. Being able to watch Kevbo basically PFC, PSMO on an extreme machine right in front of me, it just told me that I could do it too. You know, the machine, the pads, they're the exact same. If he can do it, it's possible I can do it too. And that's always been a huge motivating thing. But like, think of it like in an ITG setting where someone got a new quad on a red ITG2 Dedicab, and then someone was playing on a DDR upgrade ITG2, and they just couldn't get close to that. You know, it feels very discouraging. So I really hope they find a way to not let this happen, but this is currently my biggest fear. And you know it's my biggest fear because I just ranted on like 14 minutes about it. So, wow, 36-minute video to talk about gold cap speculation. And again, if you stayed this long, congratulations. You're a true fan. But with that, that's it. Most of those are minor concerns. There's quite a few good things and quite a bit of rumors and speculations. And honestly, we're going to have to wait and find out. I got lots of videos planned. If you're in my Discord or you're a patron, you already know that because I keep you guys up to date, which is a clue to you guys. Go join my Discord. And if you really love me, become a patron today. There are some benefits. I might be slow at getting to them, but there's definitely benefits. And then, yeah, I'll keep the conversation going down below. Leave a like on this video, subscribe, bell notifications, and yeah, follow me on Twitter, and that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of video, do let me know. I'll make more of these rambling style of videos in the future, and I'll just dive into a topic and spill my thoughts if that's what you guys like. And that's all I got because I'm out. Alright guys, take care and peace.